Hi, I'm Carrie and welcome to my channel. Today is my October monthly musings. It's my wrap up of all things that's gone on in my practice, my life, decks, and other things I've gotten myself into over the past month. October, all in all, I think was a pretty good month. I felt really present and connected in October. uh, Especially at the beginning of the month. I don't know what had gotten into me, but I just felt like I was really um, present in what was going on. I was present with how things were sitting in my body, and I was just hyper aware, uh, noticing how things were affecting me and um, what what I felt was possibly encroaching on my energy. And so, because of that, I did let me see if I can find it. I have to cover some things up in my journal this month. I did this dark and light spell, this mirrored reflection, and I put it in my journal. And I don't know why, I just felt that that's where it needed to be in the month of October. And it's basically where a mirror. These are like the mirrors are. It reflects back to you an energy, but it also deflects energy. So that's why the candle, I have dark and light here. So it is pushing away things that, are negative or are not needed. And it is attracting things or reflecting back to me the positive. And I just wanted to, I'm not going to go into like the full detail of what this was around, but I just thought I would share this little bit right here. So if you're ever thinking about doing some sort of spell, you could do it right in your journal if you want to. It doesn't have to be anything elaborate. I know there's a lot of different um, ideas about spell work, but that's just one that I've done. I've done this before, and I just thought I would share that. So, yeah, I was feeling very, very present and noticing what was going on. Um, as far as life goes, not too much. I say not too much, but there was a lot going on. I don't think anything that's like exciting to share. My son did come home for a long weekend. It was nice seeing him. I haven't seen him. I think it was August. I don't think he's been home since August, and he'll be home for Thanksgiving. So that was nice seeing him for a long weekend. I want to talk about some of the videos that I've been watching on YouTube. They are not tarot related, so some of you may be interested, others may not be interested, um, but it had an effect on me in my month of October, which is why I'm choosing to share those with you. The first one that I want to talk about, and I'll put a picture of the channel while I'm talking about this also. It's the Space Maker method. This just randomly a few months ago, one of the videos popped up. So I have been following for, I don't know, 10 or 11 episodes, and they only do one a week. So for 10 or 11 weeks now, I have been following this. Oh my gosh, her name is like completely leaving my brain. The series is around Julia. I remember her. I can't remember the Space Maker Method lady's name. But anyway, the series is around Julia for right now. And they have gone in, or this one lady has gone in, and they're working on decluttering her little tiny New York City apartment. I am so engrossed in this series. I've told two friends about this series. It's like, oh my gosh, you have to watch it. And I've just enjoyed every bit of it. I think it's Julia's personality and rooting for her to have this calm space that she can live in and everything. And it's just been a real joy to watch. So if you like those kind of videos, be sure to check that out, that series. And she has many different people and playlists of other series that she's done where she's worked with people. But I think Julia might have been her longest series. And by the time you're watching this, the last episode would have aired Sunday morning. So all of Julia's story is there. That is one channel that I have been loving every week. I watch it with my Sunday morning coffee. It's become a ritual every Sunday. So, okay. The next channel that popped up on my feed, and I'm so glad it did, and it's called The Analog Mind. I believe the man is a lawyer and he teaches philosophy. I'm pretty sure. I just found his channel just a couple weeks ago. And the few videos that he has up, I've thoroughly been enjoying watching some of them. I don't like, there's this whole Zettleskin uh thing. I didn't watch that fully, so I don't really get what that whole journaling method is. But the one that caught my eye was he was just talking about his notebook and the notebook he uses, things he writes in his notebook. I find it really fascinating to watch other journaling videos like that aren't about decorating, that aren't about making the journal pretty, that aren't about the special pens or anything. It's just about getting those thoughts down into a notebook, whatever kind of notebook it is that you want to use. And so I've really been enjoying, and his voice is very calm and soothing, and I've really been enjoying that. But the reason I'm bringing his channel up is because his one video called the Socratic Method. Oh my gosh, it's about Socrates. Was so interesting. And the whole time I'm listening to it, I'm thinking, how can I adapt this into tarot? So kind of at the end of the video, he talks about how to do this Socratic method. And it's where you come up with a topic and you start posing questions that Socrates may have had in regards to this topic. And trust me, I'm probably not explaining this in the best possible way, but I'm going to try my best here. Anyway, so he was like, you write a question and then like in the form that Socrates would ask, because Socrates didn't really give answers. He just posed more questions to things instead of giving you an answer. Okay. And then you write, your portion of that, and then like another question that maybe Socrates would ask in regards to the topic that you picked, and so on and so on and back and forth. So I was like, oh, how can I adapt this to tarot? It would be really cool to do that. Okay, so what I did was I chose the topic life after 55. And I wrote down, my first thing was life moves at a snail's pace until it doesn't, and then it's over. That was my start. So I got out my poesis deck and I shuffled the cards, and I was thinking about, what would Socrates ask in regards to my statement. And the card that came out was wish. So then I had to put that into question form. So what would he be asking me in regards to what I just said? So I put, using that energy of that wish, what is your wish then? To return to when you were young, or to live for all eternity? And so my answer to that was, I wish to make the most out of my time. So then I shuffled and I pulled another card from the poesis, and that was Socrates' energy. And so it was hold. So then Socrates' question to me was, what is it that you seek to hold on to, the fleeting hours or the echo that you leave behind? And so my response was the echo mostly. We become distant thoughts as time moves forward. So then the next card was blockage. And the question I came up with from Socrates is, if you feel yourself fading into echoes, what blockage keeps your voice from carrying into the future? And I put that maybe that the blockage was that I wouldn't be able to catch catch that moment. It would be, too fleeting. So the next card was simplify. If you cannot catch time, then how might you simplify your reach by learning to flow with what's already in your hands? And so my response was, perhaps I can slow time by being more present. And I just did this. I would pull a card that would be Socrates energy, and I would have to come up with the next question. And then I didn't pull cards for me. I would just respond to it. So it was different. It was pulling the tarot for the question, not for my answer. And I enjoyed it because it got me thinking about things, and on both ways, because I had to come up with the question and I had to then respond to it, from that place of authenticity. And yeah, I did. I did this for, I don't know, an hour and a half or more, just sitting and pulling cards and thinking, what kind of question would Socrates pose to my response to this? And it was a fascinating exercise to do. And it was a different way to use the cards. And I got the whole entire idea from watching the Analog Mind channel and listening to that video about the Socratic Method, I think it was called, or something like that. And it was really fascinating. So if you happen to go watch that video and you try it out, be sure to come back and let me know how it worked for you. And the final question was, if time cannot be bottled, then what do you create each moment you choose to live within it? An illusion of order or a masterpiece of experience? And I put both depending on the thought. And then the next question was fear. And if both order and masterpiece are born from thought, then is it fear that decides what you see? And I was like, oh my God, yes. That depends on how you're seeing the outcome. I don't know. Like I said, it was a whole thing. I wanted to make sure that I shared that with you because it was really fascinating to do. And he just talked about journaling. He's not into tarot. He has absolutely nothing to do with divinatory anything. I just turned around and switched it into how to do this in a divination style that was, like I said, really, really fascinating thing to play around with this month. One of the other channels that I adore, I've been watching him for, I don't know, 5 years, 6 years maybe. And that's Christopher Allen's channel. He doesn't video as much as he used to. But he does do like Vlogtober sometimes, and he definitely does Vlogmas. And I really enjoy watching him and just seeing what's going on in his life and that sort of thing. It's just pure enjoyment for me. So I'll put that on the screen also in case that's something that interests you. But that's kind of what I got into. I didn't watch as much tarot content this month, not for any particular reason. I don't know. I was kind of involved in some other things, and I think that's okay. So sometimes we can get oversaturated. Here I am putting out tarot content, but sometimes we can get oversaturated with the whole idea of that and everything. So let's see, what else did I do? Still doing my omens. I still pulled. I'm still doing the three. What are these called? Those three zodiac decks, Aquarius, Gemini, and Leo. I pulled a card. It was interesting how they all kind of, meshed together. I don't have anything. I wasn't dreaming big this month. I was writing some things there. My omens, I can't show this, but my omens were very spot on and correlated really well with this. I think I talked about that last month. Also, what else did I do in here? Oh, here are my cards. So here are my cards for my light and shadow readings. And this was so cool how, both of them have the exact same coloring. She's open and grounded here to the earth, and they're all wrapped up within themselves. And all the words here, I know I didn't show the cards last month, but I just found that really fascinating how they were very similar. And these are just things that I wrote from the book. And I wish I would have started doing it this way back in the very beginning, is separating everything out in these block formats. And then I'll write my stuff down here. I have to go back and write it. I've been trying to wait to write my things in after I film this wrap up so I don't have to cover up everything that's on here. So that's why it's always blank now. But yeah, I've been enjoying this, and this practice will be coming to an end in December. And I've got something new that I'm going to be doing in the coming year, but I'll talk about that at the end of the year when I talk about all my stuff as far as my practice goes. What else do I have in here? Anything to show? I don't think so. I think that's it for my journal. So I'm going to talk very briefly about the Magical Hours Tarot and the deck study. So at the time you're watching this, we are entering week 5 of this study. We just finished the Pentacles. And so here's a couple things. I thought there was going to be more people that was doing this study for this deck, but there's only a couple of us. On top of that, I'm losing steam when it comes to studying this deck. It was really enjoyable when I started it, and this is what I think my problem is. And I don't know if this is why there was all this interest in this study at the start, and now there's only like 2 people, maybe 3, that are actually even posting anything. I feel like this was the wrong time of the year to study this deck. I enjoy this. Everything that I've read in the guidebook has resonated with me. There's a couple images that I'm just like, nah, but for the most part, I love every image that I've really looked at, dived into, examined, whatever you want to say. I've really enjoyed. However, I'm feeling like this deck is more suited for early spring, late spring, maybe anywhere between like the March and May season. That's kind of where I'm being pulled energy wise for this deck. That's not to say that it can't be pulled out and used at any point in time, but I don't know. That's just what I'm feeling the deeper that I get into this study. And I think that's why I'm losing, I don't want to say interest, because it's not interest. I think this deck is really cool. And like I said, I really enjoy the write-ups, the guidebook. Every entry, there's been like one sentence that has like stood out and maybe changed my mind about a couple things or whatever regarding the energy of the card. So it's not that I'm not enjoying the deck, because I absolutely am. I just think that I should have studied this in March. Made it a deck study for March or April. And I think I would have been a little bit more enthusiastic for it. But I'm not going to quit, because I've only got two suits left to go, and I'm going to finish it out. Whether anybody else does or not, I'm going to finish the deck study out, and then I am going to put this deck away, and I will not pull it back out until spring season, because I really feel like this deck could shine during that time. So that's my thoughts on this so far. And I probably won't talk about this again, when the study wraps up or anything, but That's my ideas for the deck. I am pairing it with, which I showed in the video that I made. My favorite pairing with it is the Dream Song Oracle and the Oracle of Rewilding. Oh my gosh, I am loving those two oracles paired with this deck. It's the messages are just so cohesive. The energies really play well off of each other. So I'll probably use those two decks to pair with it all the time. My reading channel is 1 month old, and I've had fun over there. I kind of slacked off a little bit at the end of October. I missed getting a couple videos up. I just couldn't find the time to make them, but there was still something up for that week. I think my weekly energies, I'm having fun with that channel right now. I enjoy putting my readings over there. And anyone who came from this channel over there to support me, thank you so much. I think I have 64, I don't know, maybe 63, 60 some subscribers over there. And I appreciate all of you that have joined me. I really do appreciate you. Let's talk about a couple decks that I got in. The rest of the decks, I'm going to be doing a big video of a deck haul, so I might have to split that into 2 videos depending on how many I'm going to show. But I already talked about the Grim Tales tarot, so if you haven't seen that video, I did a bunch of pairings with this deck. I quickly walked through the cards of this deck because there's all kinds of walkthroughs. There's all kinds of walkthroughs on this deck now, but I did show some pairings and which ones were my favorite at the end. So I'm not going to talk about that again. This one I got in 10 minutes before I sat down to film, and I am filming this on November 1st. I was hoping that this deck was going to come before Samhain, but it didn't. I picked up the Roses, Dust, and Ashes Oracle by Stacey Williams Ing from her Lepanthier. Oh my gosh, I can't get the box open. Her website, she had it, it was 50% off, I think. So I went ahead and picked it up for that price. And I was hoping, like I said, to have it before Halloween, but that's okay. I'll use it no matter when I have it. I just think these images, these cemetery images are really cool. I know there's that big cemetery deck off of Make Playing Cards, but that shipping and that's too high from them right now. So I just thought this would be a nice placeholder or even a replacement, for that deck. The cards are sticking together badly. I tried to separate them, but in case you've never seen it, it's only 36 cards. That's kind of a little bit of a bummer, but I like the imagery on here. I like the keywords on here, and I think I'm going to try to use it in some ancestor spirit work, and we're going to see how that plays out for me. So I'm glad to have this. It does come with a guidebook. It talks about the illustration, and then a little bit, when you draw this card, ask yourself, blah, blah, blah. There's some spreads in the back, and then it goes into more detail about the symbols, cemetery symbols. So I thought that was really interesting too. And I really want to read about that. I am fascinated with tombstones, and that, when you go to a cemetery graveyard and see the things that are put on some of those. So I got that in, and I picked up the RWS Christmas Tarot. This is from Printagrams. I have gotten several decks from him on Etsy. This is the one where I went on and on, I think it was last year, about the RWS that he put onto playing cards. And so your RWS images are in the center, and then the outer part of the card is like a regular playing card. And I love that deck. That is like, and he doesn't sell that one anymore. And that is a treasured deck of mine. He has one now that is like Uno cards, which I picked up that one too. And it's so cool. And he has the one that's like this for Halloween, and I want to get that, but I don't know. It's a little pricey right now, so I'm going to wait. However, this one he had on sale for $27, I think, is what he had it on sale for. And I thought it would be perfect. The only holiday decks I have is the Yule Oracle, um, part of the Seasons of the Witch series, and the Yuletide Tarot. That's it. I don't have any other actual Christmas themed or Yuletide themed decks, just those. So I just thought this would be a nice one to have too. Unless Santa has fallen out of the tower. I don't know. I just think this is great. I can't wait to use it. I think it's I love the way he redid the images, recolored them, and everything. And it's a really great price, especially when this is a deck I'm only going to be pulling out during 1 month of the year. I'm not going to be pulling this out to read in January or in March or anything. This is only going to be pulled out. So I didn't want an expensive deck. So if you're looking for an inexpensive RWS, as of the time I'm filming, printagrams on Etsy, and it was, like I said, it was around $27. So the only thing is this guy's face blends in with the backdrop, right? And the Eight of Pentacles looking like an elf. Oh my gosh. And it doesn't come with a guidebook or anything. It's just your standard RWS. So any guidebook you have would suffice if you need one. Okay, so let's talk about the decks I paired together for some reading. I did use the decks I'm going to show that I read for others. I used for myself at the same time. I didn't pull out a bunch of spooky decks this year or anything. I don't know. It's not that I really wasn't feeling the season. I don't know. I didn't feel like using them. I'll just say that. So anyway, the decks that I paired together is the Seasons of the Witch Mabon, the Compendium of Witches, and the Everyday Witch Tarot. And as you can see, these are back in their big boxes. Where I sit to film my videos, my bookshelf that I did a whole bookshelf tour on sits across the room in the left-hand corner. So I stare at it. I can see everything on it right now. And it was so chaotic looking with the bags sitting out on that. And I couldn't take it anymore. It just looked like chaos all the time. So I spent several hours one day digging my tote out of the basement that holds all these empty boxes and putting every single tarot and oracle on that bookshelf back into their original boxes. And it's much more pleasing, I should say, to the eye now, because the big Llewellyn boxes, I was afraid it wasn't all going to fit. Honest to God, I was afraid of that. But the big Llewellyn boxes, because there's all these books on there for different things, look like books also. So it's kind of nice having that all up there together like that. But yeah, everything, oh my God, everything is back in its box. And because of that, my bookshelves are crammed to the max. There's nothing else that can fit on there. I don't know how I'm going to show all this. Let's make sure this is on camera. So how I use this energy. And if you happen to be over on my reading channel, you would have seen me use these decks together. But the energy was brought forward with the Mabon Oracle. And then I split the Compendium of Witches up into its categories. We got the witches, and then we have the witches' tools. And so what I would do is this would be the energy that was coming forward. This is the witch who had additional information or something to say about this energy, or why this energy was coming. And then this is the tool that she was giving me in order to give additional information or work through this energy. And then I would pull 3 tarot at the bottom for more information. I really enjoyed this reading. So it was really interesting how this all played out. I enjoyed the energy of these 3 decks working together. And then it was like the omen just brought it all into focus, or had that extra message that you needed right at the end of the reading. And I really did enjoy that. So I haven't used the Compendium of Witches in a very long time, So it was really nice pulling it back out and playing around with it and using it again. And I forgot how much I enjoyed it. So it was nice. And same thing with the Everyday Witch Tarot, because I have the other Witches Tarot decks over there. This is like kind of usually the last one that I will pull out, but it was fun playing around with this again. And I forgot, this is like my second witchy deck ever. So I really enjoyed reading with this one again. I like grabbing things off the shelf and putting it together and seeing how it all plays out, and whoops, sticking these in the wrong piles, and how they all the energies mesh and work together in one way or another. So I think that's it. I think that's all I'm going to share today. Like I said, I didn't work with much more than what I've already talked about or what I've already showed here in this video. Let me know in the comments below. What did you work with in the month of October? Did you get out all your spooky decks and work with those? Have you gotten any new decks in? Uh, yeah, just share with me. I'd love to hear. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate you being here. If you like the video, I do appreciate a thumbs up to push it out there for others to see, or subscribe if you'd like to see more from me. And until I see you next time, bye.